Just waiting on YouTube here to let me know that we are going live. That always takes a couple seconds. And then we should be good to go. All right. I believe we are going live on YouTube right now. And I'm talking because the last couple times we tried to do this, it always caught me just kind of sitting there with my mouth open. But anyway, this is the On the Hunt podcast, episode 35. And we have got a whole bunch of greatness on the screen right now. We are missing one person, and we will hope that maybe he'll be able to pop in at some point. That would be Reggie Funches. But we do have Mr. Nate Rucker and the number one Lions fan, Mr. Bobby Bless. So we're going to start off with Bobby as I get things all set up here, fellas. Kind of vamp for me a little bit. Bobby, how are things in Toledo, Ohio, my friend?
Man, it's going good. It got kind of warm though. I cut on my AC for the first time this year, so it got hot to me. I ain't the type to complain about the heat because I always go find me some air conditioning. But as far as that, I'm good, brother. Ready to talk about some Lions, man. Sundays in the fall need to hurry the hell up, to be honest.
I couldn't agree more, my friend. Nate Rucker in Detroit. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, you see what I'm doing, man. I'm on the patio. Hey, sun's out, guns out. Out here, smoking a little bit of chicken wings. Like I say, ready to get our fan base, got some really good topics for them around Lions country, just to pique their interest a little bit and show them what separates us from everybody else.
All right. Well, hey, let's get into some of those here. And Nate, I'm going to start off by actually pitching a show that we've got coming up here tomorrow at 7 o'clock right here on the Elijah Winfrey Studios YouTube channel. I've been telling you guys for the last couple of weeks that we have got other shows that we have here on this channel, other shows that are going to be premiering. And tomorrow night is the premiere of what I think will be a special show. We call it Licorice Pizza. And for folks who are saying, ew, that sounds disgusting, it is not a cooking show, okay? What it is it's actually a vinyl record show. And I'm pretty excited about it because my buddy who works with me at the radio station, Don Despaw, is actually the host of that show for our YouTube channel. So he is going to be going over different vinyl record albums released by Led Zeppelin. He's got an episode coming up about Garth Brooks. He's got an episode about U2. And a couple other bands as well. He kind of hops around and tells you his favorite albums from each band. And obviously, he's going to be looking for your input as well. So if you are a vinyl record fan, make sure you check out that show. Again, it premieres tomorrow night at 7 right here on the Elijah Winfrey Studios YouTube channel. It is called Licorice Pizza. And all you got to do is just do what you're doing right now. As soon as you see it, say, hey, something's premiering. Check it out. And if you miss the premiere, you can always watch it later. But again, it's called Licorice Pizza, and we're hoping that you will check that out as we start to add more shows to our Elijah Winfrey Studios YouTube channel. So with that, let's toss it back over to Nate Rucker, and I can see that he's cooking right now. So I'm gonna give him a couple.
I'm here.
Okay, there was a rule change. There was a rule change in the NFL that was submitted by the Lions. Tell us about it, my friend, as you're cooking.
Well, first of all, we haven't did Feast Not Famine in a while. I was going to show y'all what's in that bowl, but I don't want people to be mad. So we're going to let y'all stay where y'all at. But no, what they did, previously what the rule was, you can carry 2 quarterbacks, but if you carry 3, you will lose an active roster spot for that game. This rule that was adopted by the NFL was presented by our Lions. And they're going to be able to carry 3 quarterbacks and will not lose a roster spot. And it's crazy because the Lions have been trying to put that rule in for the last couple of years. It has not been adopted. This year, it was adopted. So now you're looking at 3 guys. You're going to have Goff, probably the most likely Sudfeld, and Hooker if he's ready. If not, it'll be one of them other guys that we just haven't signed yet. But we will be able to carry 3 quarterbacks. So you will have one guy on the headset. You will have one guy throwing up the plays with the sign, calling the plays in or whatnot. Or the clipboard to the old days. You got the headset, one got the headset, one got the clipboard, and the guy that's actually taking the snaps. So they're going to see a lot of interacting. And I say, hey, maybe the league likes us a little bit. They starting to listen to us and put us in. So I'm good on that. Elijah, what y'all think about it?
So my opinion on this is I feel like the NFL is a league where they have to be shown something before they finally believe it. Because as you mentioned, Lions have been trying to get this rule in for a few years, and it took the 49ers literally falling to pieces and almost having to put in a hot dog vendor as their quarterback in the NFC Championship game before the NFL finally said, you know what? Maybe we should do this rule. And I feel like that's how the NFL is. They have to see somebody else do it before they finally actually believe that, hey, we should do something about this. For my purposes, I'm curious to find out who that third quarterback's going to be for the Lions. And I know a lot of people are not really concerned about who the third quarterback's going to be, but for me, I'm not concerned about it. I'm just really interested. I mean, obviously, I think Hendon Hooker is going to be guy number 2. There's a lot of people who have talked about his health, and I just want to throw this out there. It is being reported that because of when Hendon Hooker had his injury and when Hendon Hooker had his surgery, he might actually be ready to go by week 1 of the NFL season as a backup. Now, the Lions are not going to rush him back, but this is not the same situation with Jameson Williams, where he got hurt in the national championship game. The season started a few months later, and we had to wait till Thanksgiving to see him. It's not going to be like that with Hendon Hooker. He will be ready by the time the season comes to be a backup. But again, I don't think you're going to see him out there unless something, catastrophic happens with Jared Goff. And obviously, I'm hoping Jared Goff has a really good season this year. But that third quarterback, I'm wondering, is it going to be Nate Sudfeld with the meanest handoff in the league? Or is it going to be Teddy Bridgewater, which we've heard a lot about? Or maybe it's going to be Adrian Martinez. And I will say, I haven't heard anything about Adrian Martinez since the rookie minicamp. And what I did hear about him in rookie minicamp was not really that great. They were like, he wasn't, as sharp as he could be, which I think is a little unfair because it's not like they have a full week even with the playbook. Right. They're like, go out there and perform with guys you've never thrown to before. So I'm wondering if Adrian makes the team. And if he does, maybe we have Goff, Hooker, Martinez. That would be interesting. But before I get off on a tangent, Bobby Bless, what do you think of that rule?
Just as a pure football fan, it was kind of bad watching the 49ers go out like they did because they ran out of quarterbacks. So, like you said, Elijah, it's not nothing that we really, as just football, as Lions fans, really think about the third quarterback position. But it just, my first thought was the actual playoff game where it just was horrible for them. They had to put McCaffrey at quarterback kind of thing. And so just for the pure love of competition, I'm glad they made that rule. And as far as the roster spot thing, it's always good to have extras. So I ain't mad about it. I'm not moved either way, but it's just good to know that, somebody going to get another chance in the NFL because that's basically what you're doing. That third guy probably more than likely not in the NFL without that extra spot. What you think?
I couldn't agree more with you, Bobby. And I know this is like that part of the offseason for Bobby Blush where he's like, like you see all these other Lions fans, they freak out over every bit of news. And Bobby's just kind of sitting there being like, well, once they get the pads on, we'll find out. So
yeah, I mean, hey, tell them Nate, they catch the ball different when they know they're getting hit. So.
Yes, they do. That they know, so they catch it different. They move different.
Yeah. They don't even think the same no more. So I mean, it's good. You never want to hear nothing negative, to be honest, but you always want to know that it's not real football yet. Just keep that in mind.
I always laugh because Bobby has a face, and I know you guys can't see that on the live stream, but I have the benefit of seeing all three of these fellas whenever they're not talking. And Bobby has this face, okay, that he only gets whenever we're talking about something that he has no interest in, okay? And I wish you could see that because Bobby just kind of like mugs the camera, and I'm like, okay, Bobby, we'll get to something more exciting. But like
I want to be like, what the? Who cares? That's how I be like a Valenti, put a Valenti on them, you know.
But
Right.
it's
Who the hell
funny, it's
cares?
funny though, because like last week, I forget what it was we were talking about. We were talking about something. Oh, it was rookie mini camp. That's what we were talking
Oh
about.
yeah, and
The
Laporta
entire time.
Laporta catching passes like, dude, he a tight end. Everything I see from him has to be with the pass on. I don't even.
And,
I could care less.
and the entire
Yeah.
time that we're talking about that, Bobby's just staring into my soul on the Zoom call. And I'm just like, okay, all right, we'll get to something a little more exciting, I promise.
Hey, tell them, Nate, them tight ends, when them pass go on, they be changing their character, man.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, unless you Eric Ebron and you just dropping shit, whether you in your draws or not, then
Yeah.
you know it doesn't make a difference. But you know, TJ Hawkins shit had people fooled for a long time, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh my god, he can't block. Oh my god, he's on his face. Oh my god.
and not even that though, Nate. Remember Jared Davis, whatever you want to call
oh
it.
my god.
Every summer, oh my God, he's improved his knowledge and this, that, and other, and he's doing real good. As soon as the preseason comes, he's doing the same shit. So
Jared Davis, unfortunately, I hope people don't get mad at me, but he was like Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles trying to cross the street without the assisted person.
Well, fellas, we had a good run. It was 35 episodes. Nate just got our ass canceled. I've been talking about hookers and everything else, but Nate just had to do it. He crossed the line.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
all right, y'all.
So
see a shot, take a shot. Our daughter's here.
Oh boy.
But
So
but in the long run though, Elijah, real quick, it's just like you know what I mean, you want to hear positive things. So all my facial expressions aside, brother, I'm just glad it's positive, okay?
Yeah, no, I certainly
All the chicken in the house in the bowl.
So real quick, I want to let folks know we do have quite a few people watching actually tonight, which is awesome. So thank you for that. We got a lot of comments coming in, which is fantastic. If you have not already, please take a second of your time to like this video for us, because as you like this video, it helps us out.
Live right now.
See it.
We live on Tell Greg. We live on YouTube.
So please make sure you like this video if you have not already. Jason Frick has said, "What's up, brothers?" He said that Nathan disappeared, and then he said, Lions got a high-priced hooker." Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Bobby don't play. And then Jason Frick said, "Guys, do you like the new tight end?" And I'll be honest, you know, tight end's cool, but I like the hooker better. Anyway.
I'm gonna say, look, you can't go from hookers to tight ends, man.
That's right.
That does not. You're going to get us put off before I do.
Listen, I didn't go after Stevie Wonder. I mean, come on now. Anyway, comedian Shay B says, "Hey family." She also says, "Bobby's just ready for the season to start, just like me." And yeah, I think
ready.
I'm
ready, sis. I'm ready.
But we got a bunch of people watching. So again, give this video a like for us, comment on this video. And what we're going to do tonight's a little bit different. So I'm going to tell you the topic, and then I want you as an audience member to comment your opinion, and we'll read it out on the air. Okay. So
that's dope.
Here's our first topic. And I need you in the comment section to start giving us some answers as we're talking about it. Okay. So our first topic is Lions player that you wish would have worked out. Lions player that you wish would have worked out. So this is somebody who maybe you had high hopes for, and for whatever reason, it just never worked out as a Detroit Lion. Okay. Not somebody that we could have drafted and didn't. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about guys that we drafted or guys that we picked up that you were excited about, and unfortunately they never worked out. Okay, that's what I need from you guys. So go ahead and comment and let me know, let the guys know as well, your opinion on that. We will read out some of those comments that we see as they come in. I want to go over to Nate Rucker, who's got a couple of guys actually that he wished would have worked out as a Detroit Lion. So Nate, take it away.
Okay, so first of all, is there a limit or is there a max total that you want us to do?
You can do up to three if you want.
Yeah, man, because we don't need you to name everybody a player, motherfucker.
Okay, So my top three, number one is going to be Chris Claiborne, linebacker, USC. Number two is going to be Louis Delmas, safety from Western Michigan. And then number three is going to be Nick Fairley.
Mm.
Bobby?
Oh yeah. For me, my three first is Dominic Sue, man. We should have paid him. Nate,
He
tell him
don't
if we could
count
go back.
though. But he
Why
worked
he
out.
don't
He
count?
don't count
Why?
because he left as a free agent. And that don't count.
Well, that
Damn.
does count. That does count because that's an interesting take because
Well,
technically,
I got a bag up then. Did that mean that this trade don't count?
Okay, Nate. Okay, hey, I will let Nate go after I get done with mine then.
okay, all right.
Okay. Dominic Sue, man, we should have paid him, man. We paid him before we paid Stafford before we paid Sue. That was dumb. And everybody
Dumb
say
today.
but everybody say he didn't really pan out. To me, he should have been in Detroit, and he's still a factor to this day. When he out there on the field, people know where Sue at. Number two is believe it or not, DeAndre Levy. I don't think we had a linebacker that could cover since he left and got injured and stuff. And because the main thing with him, man, he was able to cover. He got interceptions. He was like a playmaker. When I was first getting into fantasy football, we played in the league with a defensive playmaker, and I picked DeAndre Levy, and he won the damn thing for me. So ever since then, and then it was just messed up how he got hurt, and then he ended up never playing after he got paid. So all that stuff hurt. And my last, but certainly not least, my one guy, what's his name? Javid Best, that's his name. Man, he was super fast. It's like I don't think we had a guy that fast and that talented since he left. He was one of the few guys in my lifetime, other than Barry Sanders, that actually get the ball and can take that thing all the way. And I figure if he would have stayed on the team and with Calvin Johnson and with Golden Tates and stuff, we would have won that damn playoff game, and we wouldn't even be talking about our playoff win drought kind of thing. So I'm gonna throw it back to Nate. Nate, what's your real three then, man?
Nate feels
Because
cheated.
yes, I feel cheated because in that case, number one is going to be Calvin.
Oh yeah.
Number one is going to be Calvin. Everything that he did, greatest wide receiver of his era. When from the point, him drafted to the point that he retired, highest rated Lions player ever on the top 100. Calvin was legitimately that guy. But because we had, who and broken fingers and all type of stuff, we really didn't get to see what he could have done further. Then of course, Barry left early. But actually, I'm not even going to use Barry because we seen what he could do. Mm-hmm. So it's still going to be Calvin. It's definitely going to be Ndamukong Suh. And then I'm going to still go with Chris Claiborne.
You still go with Nick Fairley. You can still go with Nick Fairley.
No.
Honorable mention Nick Fairley. I love Nick Fairley.
Well, no, I wouldn't even take him. My honorable mention will actually be Willie Young. No, not Willie Young. Old man Ziggy. If Ziggy would have actually came in the NFL when he was legitimately 21 instead of 29, we would talk about. Y'all ever seen the movie Hustle? And
yes.
You know
yeah.
With Adam Sandler, and remember Boban's in there. And
yeah.
He's like, I'm 21. He's like, okay, well, how old is your son? He's like 12. Like, dog, come on, man. So those are my three, and Ndamukong, Ziggy, and that guy they call Megatron. So those are my three. Eli, what you got?
So I'm going to go to the comment section before I give my answers, and the comment section is lighting up on this topic. So this is a good one. I'm glad we did it. So Jason Frick said, I probably shouldn't have started drinking. And I
You're
would
late,
imagine-
Jason.
So Jason Frick said Charles Rogers,
That's a good one.
Boss Bailey,
Oh,
Ooh.
that's a good one too.
Reggie Brown.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
And
gotta
then-
hurt his
Reggie
neck, right?
Brown. Yeah. That's gotta broke his neck. I thought about Reggie Brown, but Chris Claiborne to me was just so physical. He had better hands. Dude could play the run, the pass. He was a nasty dude coming out of USC. So that's why I went with Chris. But Reggie Brown was no joke, though. Had he not broke his neck, dude,
Yeah,
sideline to sideline, he reminded me. When I think about him, I think about a young Brian Urlacher. Like he could do it all. So
And then Lavelle Stokes. And I'm glad I took a second to reread that name because I would have read it.
Vel, what up, though?
So Lavelle says Titus Young and Mikel LaShore were his two.
That's good ones too.
All
Especially
right.
Titus Young.
Titus Young.
Yeah.
I think Titus Young had 30 personalities. He was like the dude from the Unbreakable series that had all of them inside his head.
Hey, but he got open though. I swear he got open though.
My bad, Eli. Hey,
No, you're good. You're good.
Hey, also while we throwing out movies, hey, we need y'all to make sure y'all be paying attention for our rewatchable podcast coming real soon. We're gonna do y'all real good. All movies, everything. How we throw these movies out to y'all. We want y'all to keep your heads, keep your ears churning. We're gonna have that. We got some stuff planned. Elijah Winfrey Studios. Y'all better be ready.
Yeah, and so for my guys, there's no way I'm gonna be able to keep it to 3 because like as you guys were talking, you guys took some of the guys I was gonna talk about. So I'm gonna go with some players that you wouldn't expect me to say and some players that you would definitely expect me to say. Okay, but let's get into this. So first up on my list, Joey Harrington. Now, Joey was the quarterback for the Lions, obviously, before I became a fan. So I'm learning a lot about him going back and watching clips, and I have the ability to go back and watch these clips with the knowledge of what's already happened. So I didn't go through the frustrations of Joey Harrington like some other Lions fans did, where they watched him week in and week out make one great throw followed up by one bonehead decision. But for me, I look at it and I go, if Joey Harrington would have worked out, I think he would have been for us back then in the early 2000s what Jared Goff is today. Because I look at the offense that we have now, and I feel like the offense we have now with all these weapons is what Matt Millen was trying to build, but his receivers kept getting injured. His quarterback never really, got to the mountaintop like he was hoping he would. And I just feel like Joey Harrington would have been basically Jared Goff before Jared Goff. What do y'all think about that?
I agree to this extent, brother, because I remember watching Joey Harrington. He never had adequate protection. If he had a line like we got now, I definitely believe he wouldn't be the God-forsaken Joey Harrington. People scared to say his name around here, kind of the dude no more. But yeah, I always think he had weapons. He just lacked protection. So I agree with that. I think he would. I wouldn't go as far as being as good as Jared Goff, but I say he would be more playable kind of thing. He definitely didn't have the line like Jared Goff had last year. So I agree with that part for sure.
Nate, what do you think of that?
Only thing is him and Jared Goff have Joey Harrington coming out and the way Jared Goff plays are totally different. Totally different. Jared Goff is a 100% game manager. 100%. Joey Harrington at that time was a stretch the field guy. He
He had a nice
was
arm.
a
He had a nice arm.
yeah. He was 100% Kurt Warner. He wanted to stretch the ball, make the dumps. Like if you watched him at Oregon, and then the difference was he also had the ability to run. Make a guy miss in the hole, still kept his eyes down the field. Joey Harrington had every tool coming out of college that you wanted in your franchise quarterback. Regardless what the hindsight is, Jared Goff had it. Joey Harrington had it. It's the J's, it's double J's. Joey Harrington had it. And like Bobby said, he didn't have the weapons. He was stuck with, Mike Williams, Carlos Rogers, Roy Williams, Titus Young. Man, he was through. It was like they threw him some fucking screwdrivers to try to change a tire. And that was from every position. Like, dog, what am I finna do with a Phillips? This is a lug. Like, what am I doing? And it's not his fault, the way it played out. But people want to put that on him. And Joey Harrington has actually even came out and talked about his time with the Lions and how it totally ruined his football career and his idea of what football was supposed to be. So a lot of people want to say, yeah, Joey Harrington was a bust. Joey Harrington really wasn't the bust. The bust started with the owner who picked the guy in Matt Miller who told him, I've never, ever done this. I don't know what I'm doing. And his response was, you're going to learn as you go. So as much as people want to put it on Joey Harrington, like Bobby said, like his line, if you could tell me one guy right now who was blocking for Joey Harrington, I'd send you $5.
You better watch out. Somebody's gonna comment. Anyway.
But I'm just saying, like, dude, that's just how bad it was. So Joey got a bad rap, but the talent was there. So on to your next guy, Eli.
Backus, Jeff Backus. He was blocking for him.
Shut up, Bobby.
Jeff Backus, I remember him from Michigan.
I know. He had Jeff Backus, he had Dominic Raiola, he had Gospel Charles. Unfortunately for me, y'all know it's up here. So
yeah. You're the trivia man all day, big dog. That's for sure.
So just to wrap up the topic on Joey Harrington, I think what Nate said there towards the end was super important, and again, I became a Lions fan in 2007. If you watch the show for any amount of time, you know that. I'm not trying to, rehash old history here, but I became a fan in 2007. So I go back and I watch these games with a certain lens, through a certain lens, because I wasn't a Lions fan when those games were actually happening. So I go back and I go, man, like there's some times where he looks like the dude, and there's other times where he looks like the dung. It just depends on which side of the equation you end up getting, depending on the game. But even with all that being said, he still ranks in our top 10 as a Lions quarterback when you look at the stats all time. And I find that
but that means nothing, Elijah.
That means absolutely. Sean Hill's in our top 10. I think Rodney Peete might be top 3. So we're not even about to even go there with that.
Well, so Sean Hill's definitely not in the top 3, but I look at
Rodney Peete is top 3. Sean Hill's top 10.
I don't think so. You should look up those numbers because there's some good guys up there in that top 10 for the Lions, including Bobby Lane.
Just make sure you
Bobby Lane don't
quarterback
count.
bums. Type in quarterback bums, and then all of them.
Bobby Lane. So listen, you get a mulligan for Bobby Lane. You get a mulligan for Matt Stafford. After that, truthfully, it's a hit or miss from Jeff Garcia to Sean Hill.
No. What's my dude name?
Eric Kramer.
Scott Mitchell. Scott Mitchell was decent.
That was 1 year. Scott Mitchell was for
But
1
he
year.
was
He got
decent
paid.
though.
I don't care. That
Okay,
was only
all
for
right,
1
all
year.
right, all
Get
right.
that
Yeah,
contract out
yeah.
of
Lions
Miami.
had number one offense.
I actually have the list. Okay, I have the list because I thought this might
Thank you.
happen. So I
Look
have
at
the list.
look at Eli. He got his finger wagged. He got the Matumbo finger ready.
So here we
Hey,
go.
thank you, E.
Number one in Lions history. This is by yards, by the way.
Oh,
well,
shit.
shit.
No,
Number
man.
That
one
shit
in
don't
Lions
count.
history.
Look at
Okay,
Man.
fine. So this is by touchdowns. This is by touchdowns.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go by touchdowns. So number one in Lions history is Matt Stafford with 282 touchdowns. Number two is Bobby Lane with 118 touchdowns. And these are just passing touchdowns, by the way. I should say that.
50
Number
years
three-
apart, 60 years apart.
Number three is Greg Landry from 68 to 78 with 80 touchdowns. Then you've got Scott Mitchell, who threw 79. Gary Danielson, who everybody knows from CBS, 9 touchdowns. And then number 6 overall, passing touchdowns by a quarterback, number 6 overall, Joey Harrington. And
that's what I'm saying.
The point that I'm making with it is not that like we should put Joey in the ring of honor. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that even at his worst, he was number 6 overall. So if like what Nate was saying, if he would have had an offensive line, maybe things would have worked out. And maybe because of me saying that, him being number 6 all time, maybe you might go back and watch some of those games and go, you know what? Maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Oh,
definitely.
what do you mean?
When I was watching him, I remember because I used to work at Big Boys at the and I was a cook. And I remember getting off of work. Getting off of work third shift and watching the game. Like, damn, man, this dude, he didn't. Sometimes he didn't have 2 seconds to make a play. So I felt bad for him. So I remember. I ain't never think he was that bad.
I honestly think that's a bad thing to be when you talk about he threw 60 something touchdowns and he's number 6. That to me, what that shows is a decrepit franchise that sucks at picking a quarterback. So truthfully, like to me, and this is just me, ain't nobody else, but to me, it does a disservice to the guys we drafted because that just shows just how bad this team has been with our drafting, with our scouting department, with everything. Like if number 6 is literally 60 something, you could be in the top 10 and only thrown fucking 40 touchdowns and you're in the top 10 in Lions history. Like that's not a good thing.
I guess what I'm saying, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but what I am saying is that, you know, I feel like whenever you're going through it, you're like, oh, this guy sucks. But then when you take a second and you go back and you watch and you go, he did all that with probably the least talented roster in the league. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's like
Okay.
it's like being the best player on the worst team. It's like, you know what I mean? Like if he would have been in a better situation, because he never got a chance really to be a starting quarterback after the Lions. Like he was
With the Dolphins.
Yes, he did.
Dolphins.
But he was spot starter at the best. He was never their number one guy going into the regular season. He was a backup who got to start because other guys got hurt. That's what I'm saying.
True.
But
True.
let's move on to my second guy here because I know this one's going to get a lot of conversation. So Nate said Calvin. I'm going to say Stafford because I look at Stafford and I remember the first 2 years of Stafford being a Lion and how he could not stay on the field because of injury. And I wonder, because Calvin, you know, when Calvin first came into the league, before his ankles started screwing up on him, he was that dude. And he was that dude his entire career, but he was really something special when we were at our worst, which sucks to say. But like he had 1,300 yards that year that we lost every single game. So I just wonder if we would have had those first 2 years of Stafford without him getting hurt like he did, if he would have been healthy that entire time with Calvin, I think we would have probably gotten to the playoffs quicker than we did, because we did get there in 2011. And I also kind of wish, and this is like really wishful thinking here, but I really wish that Stafford, the maturity that he grew into after Calvin retired, I wish he would have had that prior to Calvin retiring. Because once Calvin retired, he was forced to start reading defenses. He was forced to start seeing other guys.
He still sucked at that shit.
But I'm just saying though, like,
Oh, my bad.
if his whole mode was not, let me just chuck it down the field because Calvin's down there somewhere, we probably
He did
would
it
have
with Kenny Galladay. No, I don't think he did. He just found a different guy. He did it with Kenny Galladay. Hey, guess what? You're 6'4", 6'5". I'm going to throw it up there. Hopefully you bring the ball down. Like Marvin Jones saved Stafford with so many spectacular catches. Like, for instance, the game against the Vikings. Like, dog, he threw one, and I was just like, oh, that's a pick for sure. Like, it's 3 guys down there. Marvin Jones went up. Dude came down square on his spine. He held on to the ball, saved Stafford. But, I mean, to me and Bobby going, never mind. I quit.
Let Elijah talk, man. Lord,
Yeah,
let him talk.
I quit on that one.
So I'm just saying with Stafford, he got, he obviously was the quarterback when we got to the playoffs 3 times during his tenure with the Lions. I just wonder if, as an organization, if we would have had our, hey, I'm gonna cuss for the first time. It's probably a record. I've waited this long to cuss, and before in the show. But if we would have had our shit together sooner, I just wonder how much better we could have been with Stafford.
Well, he
choked
against Dallas.
Say what?
He
Nate,
choked
leave
against
it
Dallas. Hey, my
Leave
bad.
it alone, Nate.
Hey, listen, look at my bad. Hey, we the reason we lost against Dallas. He choked in Dallas. We was up 17-0. Look at
Nate is having like PTSD bad right now. But anyway, so like I said, I knew I was going to get some pushback whenever I mentioned Stafford. But for me, I look at it, and much like Nate was saying with Barry, we got to see what Barry was. And with Calvin, I look at it and I say, we got to see what Calvin was. So I don't look at that as that didn't work out, but I do look at that and I say, okay, quarterback position, though, I would have loved to see that work out a little bit better. 2 running backs that were supposed to be on the field at the same time, but if memory serves me correct, they were never on the field at the same time.
I know where you're going with that.
Javid Best and Mikel LaShore. I mean, they were supposed to be thunder and lightning. And by all accounts, they would have been, but they were never on the field together, as far as memory serves me correct. So those are my two other guys. I would say LaShore and Best. Obviously, both had injuries. LaShore had a Achilles injury when he first came into the league, and then
devastating at the time.
Yeah,
that was a death wish for the players. Medicine is way different now, but for back in the early 2000s, that was a death wish for any career, any sport. And it is over with. Maybe even working at Walmart, it's over with. Real.
So I'm going to throw in one more, and this is going to be a surprise a little bit. And comedian Shay B, by the way, she agrees with me on the Stafford thing. So Shay, I appreciate that.
She's a comedian, though.
Yeah, stop it now. You can't use somebody's profession against them in an argument. What are you talking about? Anyway.
That's funny, though. She's a good one.
Right.
My final guy, and Nate's going to come running into frame when I say this. He's going to come running into frame. Bobby's probably going to scream bloody murder. I'm going to say it anyway. My final guy that I wish would have worked out with the Lions.
It don't have no wrapper on it.
Jim Caldwell.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I didn't even think about I could throw Caldwell.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Jim Caldwell and motherfucking Terrell Austin. Oh, I dropped the MF. But Jim Caldwell and Terrell Austin. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I feel like, and we're going to get into this here in a second, but I feel like we were on the verge for a certain amount of years. And I feel like if we just would have stayed with the plan, it would have been fine. But we didn't stay with the plan. We got rid of Jim Caldwell, which made Calvin leave. And then Stafford, granted, he had to learn how to, read a defense without Calvin down there. But I also think it was
still sucked.
I think it was kind of a detriment to Stafford as well. We don't really talk about that too much, but I don't think the Quinn Tricia era really helped Stafford out either. Because I remember
the only time I like Stafford is under Caldwell. Caldwell, for some reason, he could just get the boy to do shit right. That's why I liked him for Stafford. Because if I hate to take over it though, but Jim Caldwell, he kept it real basic with Stafford. I know Nate might remember saying this. Stafford had three different options when he was under the Caldwell era: a short option, an intermediate option, and a deep option. Those three. He kept it simple with him. Spread the 4 wide receivers out where he can read the defense, keep it in front. I like that for him. But other quarterbacks, you can try to have them doing more complex things. I think that's not Stafford time party. It's just.
You're trying to say he's not that smart?
No, man, I'm done with him, man, because they be Googling my address when you talk about Stafford, man. They'll Google my address and shit. No.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. This dude told Bobby he was a liar, and he wasn't really. His name. What did he say? He was a lawyer or something?
Yeah, I was a lawyer. He said, "You're a lawyer from, I don't know." Yeah, but anyway, but go ahead, Elijah. Yeah, Jim Caldwell is just, for some reason, he had that magic to make these players even worth standing. Even like Eric Ebron, and even like Nick Fairley, even though he stayed in Jim Caldwell's doghouse a lot, but he was also a guy that if you wasn't playing well, you put your ass on the bench. So I love that about Jim Caldwell. Not like Stafford per se, but he really wanted the leaders of the team to lead the team. He let the leaders lead the team, and he just really was there just to guide them. Like he wasn't really like wizard with with offenses and stuff. But one of the things I think got Caldwell driven out of town is that the Detroit media could not stand him. And once they don't like you, they go well and beyond to try to get rid of you. But
so let me throw this out there real quick to our audience, because we got a lot of people commenting. We picked some good subjects tonight, fellas. But let me throw out a hypothetical scenario. Obviously, it can't happen, but somewhere in a multi-dimension or whatever, maybe this will happen at some point. You never know. But can you imagine just how good we would have been if we would have had Jim Caldwell back in 2009, and we would have had Calvin, we would have had Stafford as a rookie, and then the next year we would have had Ndamukong Suh as a rookie? Can you imagine what Jim Caldwell could have done with those boys?
Oh,
I got one better. Go
ahead.
Imagine still having Jim Caldwell, but instead of Stafford, you have Jared Goff, who's smart with the ball with Megatron.
Yeah.
Now, that's some shit. Well, I don't know, because we all know Jared Goff like to wear them dumbass gloves, and he can only throw the ball 38.9 miles, and 38.9 yards in the air.
Hey, don't come from my guy like that, man. Don't come from my guy.
Never mind.
Don't come from my guy like that.
It would be slants all day. It would be 5-yard slants all day. Stafford, just go 5-yard slant. Don't go to 8 yards though, because I can't hit you. Anyway.
Hey, but real quick though. Hey, remember Ken Wisenhunt? Remember that he didn't even they asked Stafford he said he didn't even want Stafford to be in the interview process. He said he don't even care what Stafford thought. A lot of these guys didn't believe in Stafford, but Jim Caldwell did though. And that's a lot of you Stafford fans got to know. Stafford probably be damn near out the league if it wasn't for Caldwell, man. I swear.
But unfortunately, Ken Wisenhunt can't say shit because whew, that dude was bad as paint peeling on the wall as a coach.
So listen, while the rest of the league is worried about having a dominant deep game, we're over here working that sexy shallow stuff, 5 yards.
Okay. That don't sound good. That sounds no
Come on
good. It
now.
does not sound good at all.
All right, so let's move on to our next topic here. And again, I'm gonna throw the topic out there, give you guys a couple seconds to comment in that comment section, things you are thinking on this topic, and then me and the guys are gonna go out of here. So, favorite Lions teams, okay? That's what we want to know from you. Your favorite Lions team. Now, with this, it does not have to be a playoff team. Doesn't have to be a playoff team. If you say your favorite team for the Lions is the one that went 0-16, we're going to ask you why. But it can be that if you want it to be, okay? Your favorite Lions team, all right? That's what we're looking for. I need you to comment the year and give us a reason, okay? Comment the year, give us a reason. That way we can, have a little back and forth with you. So with this one, I'm going to have Bobby go first. Bobby, again, the parameters of the question. It doesn't have to be a playoff team, but it certainly can be if you want it to be. What's your favorite Lions team?
Well, shit.
Well,
We didn't have
I know. Probably you guys got ones from the past or not too long ago. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, man. Last year's team, man. They're my favorite Lion team because they got me to love this team again. When the Quinn Trisha era was around, man, I ain't really love this team. I spent half my day just critiquing the bad moves that them guys did. So I wasn't really into it, the football like I should have been. I wasn't being a fan no more. I was being bitter because I didn't really care for them guys. So this team last year, man, they, even though we started off pretty bad, I just felt in my heart like, hey, this is a different kind of bad, I guess, because these dudes was fighting tooth and nails with some of the best teams in the league, and they actually turned it around. And then I got to see them in person 2 games, and it was just. And then we started this podcast, with this team. So the 2022 Detroit Lions, man, brought my love back. You know what I mean? I'm buying hats and talking about the Lions every day again. I for a while, man, I used to be Mr. Negative when it comes to this team because I like the fruit of the poisonous tree. I didn't care what Patricia and them did. I ain't like it. It's gonna mess us up. But now we got most of those guys up out of here. I like the coach. I really like the general manager. I like the quarterback, you know what I mean? And we got different faces in different places now, I can actually, like, for the longest time, we're doing the same thing. We got a real team where the quarterback don't have to come back and save us all the damn time. We can have a real team win. And this is just this is the team that makes branches to this new regime of the Detroit Lions, and this is going to be new caution for a lot of these youngsters because they're going to actually be winning now. So it's the 2022 Detroit Lions, Elijah.
Nate, your favorite Lions team, again, doesn't have to be a playoff team, but who's your favorite Lions team, or maybe a couple if you got them?
Actually, last year and 2014. So Bobby really took my answer. Last year, guys, completely, it had nothing to do with the hard knocks. It was just about truly the grit, the fight, the never give up. They literally fought to the end, and they made people respect them. So that team, and then the 2014, that's the team that Matthew Stafford took a shit against Dallas, right? Was that 2014 or 2011?
No, it was 14.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that team too, because that team that we had the number 2 defense, we had the entire league scared, and then Pafford decided
we had a wide open Calvin Johnson. He threw it to Brandon Pettigrew, then he begged for the flag and all that old shit. Yeah, I remember
that. Yeah. Whatever. Last 6 possessions, Stafford had 3 turnovers and 3 punts. Yeah, that shit. But anyway, yeah. Those are my teams. So go ahead, Eli.
All right. So I'm not about the Stafford slander on this show, but anyway, so I'm gonna have to put a trigger warning at the beginning of this. Say Stafford fans don't watch because you're gonna be mad by the end of the episode.
Oh, man, if I'm in Facebook jail, it's gonna be because of you. I'm telling you,
It's going because of Nate picking on Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder go show up to his doorstep. Anyway,
Listen, listen. That had nothing to do. That wasn't Stevie Wonder's fault. That was okay. I'm staying out of that. Never mind. Y'all not about to have me. Y'all not have me in Facebook jail, even though we on YouTube for 1,000 days.
Yeah.
That's why you supposed to kept that rapper on there.
So here are my teams. Okay, there's a couple of them actually. I'm gonna start off with my original answer here, and then I'll give you my secondary answer. So
I got one more team too, Elijah. I got one more team.
I got you.
Okay. So last year's team is not on the list for me. Let me just put that out there right now. I was not thinking about last year's team when I came up with the question. So I'm not gonna go with last year's team as my answer. All right. What I'm gonna go with is something that's near and dear to my heart. And that is 2013 to 2016. I'm going to pick 4 teams. And the reason why I'm doing that is because that 2013 team was the first team when I met my wife, Cassandra, that her and I touched together.
You should have brought the tequila out. Why you didn't bring the tequila?
And what was interesting about that, and Nate, I'll have to mute you, my friend, because we can hear you talking about tequila and everything. So as far as those teams are concerned, the reason why they're my favorite is because I told Cassandra when we first got together, before I knew that she, didn't hate football and she'd be fine watching it with me. I told her, I said, if I have to give up watching football, there's only 2 games that I really care about every single year. And she said, what are those games? I said, Georgia Tech and Detroit Lions Thanksgiving. I said, those are the only 2 games. If I have to miss every other football game of the year, those are the only 2 that I do not want to miss. And what ended up happening from 2013 to 2016, we won every year on Thanksgiving. 2013, we beat Green Bay 40-10. That was when they had Matt Flynn filling in for Aaron Rodgers. That was a big day for us. And then the next year, we beat the Bears 34-17. And then the year after that, we ended up basically defeathering the Philadelphia Eagles. It was like 45-17. Calvin had 3 touchdowns in that game.
I gave that poster away. I gave that poster away.
I remember. And then in 2016, Darius Slay saved the day, and we beat the Vikings 16-13. So for 4 years in a row, my turkey tasted just a little bit better. And so those teams will always hold a special place in my heart because of that. I know that those teams kind of underachieve when you look at, where we thought they might be. Because if you remember back in, 2013 through 2016, we were getting talked about as a team that was on the rise and maybe in our window to win something big. And it never happened for various reasons. But we always won on Thanksgiving. And I always appreciated that. And then the other team that I'll say real quick is the 2011 team. Now, I got to put some context on this. I became a Lions fan in 2007, as I've already said. That 2008 team, I was in middle school. And my dad had just bought me a Calvin Johnson jersey. In fact, it was the black Calvin Johnson jersey. So I would wear that around school. I'd wear that at recess whenever we were playing football. Even though I'd always play quarterback, I was wearing my Calvin jersey because I love Calvin Johnson. And I got so much shit that entire year for being a Lions fan because every freaking week we would lose. And so I went through it and I said, you know what? I'm not going to give up on this team. I just became a fan of this team. Let's see where this goes. And then 2011 happens and we reel off the first 5 victories. And Javid Best goes 88 yards against the Chicago Bears and Ford Field's going nuts. And I just remember that team being so much fun. And that was where I finally got to have some bragging rights and say, look, my team doesn't suck. And then, of course, we got Ndamukong Suh, I believe, that year maybe the year before that, I think it was. But like that was just a special time for me as a Lions
Hey,
fan.
it wasn't that the year where Jim Schwartz and Jim Harbaugh was about to fight and stuff.
Yes, that
Yes.
was
They were. I love that team too.
And
Like
I tell you what, I know that a lot of people don't like Jim Schwartz. I get that. But like for me, as a middle schooler growing up, he was everything I wanted my coach to be because he took no shit from nobody. I'm like, like that's right. We are sick of being stomped on.
Yeah.
Go and have some attitude.
If your damn coach didn't know the rule book.
He threw the flag. I remember he threw the flag on Thanksgiving too. I remember that.
I remember that one too. That was one of the most BS calls in all of football. And I actually had family members, because this is kind of funny. I had family members unfriend me that day because I went on a Facebook tirade. And I don't usually do that on Facebook, but like I was cussing in my post and everything. And my dad's a pastor and my family's Christian. So they were looking at it going, where's this Elijah coming from? And I'm like, well, they fucked up the call. So I had family members unfriend me and say that I was being a bad example for other people in the family because I went off the way I did. And you know what? I still go off like that to this day. So whatever. But those teams will always hold a special place in my heart. Again, 2013 to 2016, those 4 Lions Thanksgiving victories in a row, and then that 2011 team doing big things on a big stage. And I'm hoping that we'll get to see that again this upcoming season.
Okay. And my honorable mention team was, remember that one year we went to the playoffs with we won. Stafford was doing all those comebacks and stuff. And then Prater was kicking them long ass field goals to win. And then Golden Tate had pretty much beat Minnesota by itself. That team was a good team.
2013.
That team right there was a pretty good team because I remember a couple of times on Facebook, you know how people already be like, oh, the game over, the Lions lose, and then if I'm not mistaken, it was a couple of times even Fox put the final score up there, but the game's still fucking going.
Hey,
and they done come back and won.
Bobby, those were the times where we used to defend Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if he just would.
That was Caldwell. That was under Caldwell, though. I liked him under Caldwell.
And I will say, because I know that you and Nate are very critical of Stafford, and I get it. I understand that.
I'm glad he's gone.
Playoff games,
want to put that out there.
I get it. But I will say, if he just would have been a little bit more consistent, because some of those games, it's like, great, he's making the comeback, but we didn't have to do all of that. We didn't have to make it all that exciting at the end of the game. We could have just taken care of business earlier. So I completely get that. But that seemed to be something he always did.
Can I propose a question to you, Elijah, real quick?
Yeah.
Is it a quarterback comeback if the kicker has to kick it 57 yards? Yes or no?
So I'm going to say yes, because if you say no.
Okay.
But I'm going to say yes, because if you say no, then you have to take credit away from Tom Brady for his first 2 Super Bowl wins.
I believe I would, though, because he was a game manager then. Like but yeah, definitely.
But you get what I'm saying, though, right? Because everybody's talking about Tom Brady. Well, then you could make that same argument and say, well, Adam Vinatieri is the one that should be getting all the love, not Tom Brady.
And the same thing with Peyton Manning, because he broke Peyton Manning's record for most comebacks, and Peyton Manning definitely did his part. So yeah. I agree. Good answer, Elijah. You're like a congressman.
I try to be political. I try to be right down the middle.
Yeah. Good job. I'm spinning like a top.
So we do have a couple of other answers here from our comment section. And I did say that we would read those out, so I want to make sure we do that. Jason Frick says 1997 with Herman Moore and Barry Sanders. I'm gonna give it to Nate first, and then Bobby, I want you to chime in because I was not a fan then. I was 4 years old, so we got to go to the older bunch here. Nate, you were alive back then, so Nate. 97. 97. You were in high school.
1997. I was 17. What you mean I was alive back then? What the hell?
Ooh, that was cold-blooded, Elijah.
That was cold-blooded, wasn't it? That was
cold.
That's for all the Stafford jabs. I got you.
Yeah. I got that in there.
But 97. The 97 team was nice as well. Wasn't my favorite. But Jason's a pretty knowledgeable guy. So we just gonna let him have that. But yeah, I done told y'all my favorite. So
Was that a playoff team, 97 or no?
oh
Yeah, it was a
97.
playoff
Yes.
game. That
Yes,
was the
it
year
was.
Barry Sanders got 2,000 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
That's one
Against
of my
Green
favorite
Bay.
teams too, Jason. Good one, bro.
So Bobby,
Because
real quick,
when
what
he
did you like
got
about
to
that team?
2000. Oh my bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You, Bobby, go ahead.
Yeah, what did you say, Elijah? I didn't catch that in.
Oh, I thought Nate was done with his answer, so I was tossing it to you. So Nate, real quick, what you were gonna say, and then Bobby, give me some
Yeah,
feedback
I got
on
you,
the
brother.
97
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was gonna say when he got to 2,000 yards, he got it on back-to-back carries. So the first carry went for he was like 4 yards short. So his very first carry was like for 6 yards. And they're like, yeah, he's went over 2,000 yards. They're like, wait, I think he did just go over 2,000 yards. And then his very next carry, he took it. So that's why it was pretty the moment right then and there, because it was like they wasn't sure if he really got it. And then his very next carry, it was it was one of them for show moves. Like, let me show y'all who I am. So yeah. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, that's a good team. I remember the 97 team because I think I was probably about like, I want to say 12 or 13 somewhere. I can't remember. Yeah, I was 13. But the thing I remember about that 97 team was Barry Sanders 2,000 yards and how he was going nuts all through the season. Like I remember, if I'm not mistaken, in 97, that was against Tampa when he got the 2 80-yard runs and all that. Was that 97? If I think so. So he was doing the go off mount. And we were on the fringe of the playoffs, and not only that, we needed every one of his yards to make the playoffs. I remember that too. And it was just interesting to see how much Barry Sanders was loved, because even when he ran past our guy Aaron Glenn to break the damn record, he because if I'm not mistaken, Aaron Glenn the one tackled him when he broke the record. So all of that coming full circle. I do remember that 1917. I used to have to watch the game over at my grandmother's house, and she went to church, but she was a football fan. So if the preacher, her name was Dorothy Mae Rutledge, and if the preacher's sermon was too long, she was getting up leaving. She was not missing no football game. She loved God, but she said, God, no, I need to watch the Packer game. Actually, she was a Packer fan, but football in my house in 1917, Barry broke the record. It was against the Jets, and even the Jets needed that game also. So it was like a de facto playoff game because everybody was giving their all, and everybody was just waiting for Barry Sanders to break that record, and he broke that record. And the 97 team was sweet. They were. That's a good one, Jason.
Yeah,
that's one of my
you and these Packers, dog. I'm starting to see a trend here. I'm starting to see why.
I know, man. Like all my friends are Packer fans. Man, something about that opposite, man. Because I can talk all my friends. I talk shit to. So, and I guess that Packers and Lions rivalry is the main thing that can keep us talking, doing what we do. Even my wife, as you can see, she ain't coming in. She at work, but so this is a wonderful thing right now. I'm talking about the Lions, but I heard 2 cents in there. But yeah, man, the opposite attract, I guess, brother.
So real quick,
97 Lions good.
Comedian Shay B was saying that the 2014 defense was awesome. She also said that last year 2022 is one that she would have said as well. And I do want to ask real quick here. This wasn't on our paper, but I'll just ask it anyway. Real quick, Nate and then Bobby. Nate, you first. Favorite non-playoff team?
Ooh.
Nate's thinking, you guys.
Yeah, you got me with that one. My favorite non-playoff team.
It feels like a bad question, right?
No, well, not really. would be 1976.
Oh, okay. We're going way back. All right, go ahead.
Man,
Yeah, 1976. You know, they had the original owner of that number 20 jersey. So, you know, Billy Sims and all those guys. So that's my favorite non-playoff team.
Okay. Bobby, your favorite non-playoff team?
I can't remember the year, but I remember the slide. And so it was Jim Schwartz was the coach. I think if I'm not mistaken, we started the season 7-2 or something like that, and we end up losing like the rest of the games for the rest of the season. They ended up being 7-9. What year was that?
2013.
Two,
2013.
yeah, 2013.
2013.
Oh my God, they were so sweet at the beginning of the year, man. I was talking fast shit.
Because after they smacked the Packers on Thanksgiving, they didn't win again.
Yeah,
exactly. And they finished up the season winning 7-9. And I'll never forget. I was like, dude, I have never in my life seen the team just slide like that. Like we was winning the North to like last in the North almost, I think, if I'm not mistaken, man. So that is my favorite team because it was dudes making kicks, super far kicks again on us and shit, all that kind of bad luck stuff. All they had to do was win 2 of those games out of the last half of the season, and they would have made it to the playoffs. So that was the 2013 Lions, Elijah.
So for me, this is difficult for me because outside of the Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson years, I wasn't a fan prior to that. But I will say, and maybe this is a cheating. This could be considered cheating. You let me know in the comment section. But I'm going to say the 90s. I'm going to just go the whole decade, the 90s, because there was so many moments where we would go to the playoffs and then the next year we'd fall off the map. And then we'd go to the playoffs and then we'd fall off the map again. And all those years we had Barry, and it's like, why are we not going to the playoffs every single year with Barry Sanders? And if I recall, we had a much better team in the 90s than we did in the mid 2000s. So while some folks might want to pose it and say, well, why didn't we go every year when we had Calvin? You have to remember, we only really had Calvin. We didn't have other pieces. With Barry, we had other pieces. We had Herman Moore. Yeah. We had Spielman. We had quarterbacks who were game managers. And we just couldn't consistently go. And you guys lived through it. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but you guys lived through it. So my question is, would you agree with that the 90s was a frustrating decade to be a Lions fan? Because when everything seemed to be going our way, it would very quickly turn not our way. And it was like hot, cold.
I disagree because of this reason why. Because even in the 90s, the Lions was up and down and they used to win a little and stuff. They always say they still got Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders was worth the admission no matter what that score was at the end of the game. So I'm going to say no for that. But I'm going to say the 2000s was the worst because, of course, we lost every game. And then we have a coach drive naked through a Wendy's drive-through or some old shit like that.
Stop the madness, Bobby. You know who the hell that was. The whole shebang. No, the whole shebang was bad. Like
that was embarrassing. I can deal with the losses, but that kind of stuff.
Y'all gotta Google that. I'm not saying no name. But the coach drove. I'm not going through. The coach drove through the drive-through naked. We had a coach, a coordinator who got pissy drunk and passed out on somebody else's couch, broke in their house, and was asleep on their couch when they woke up. Dog. It was
Okay. All right. So if I guess it, will you tell me correctly?
I'm about to Google. I can't remember the name, but I remember I was young and my stepfather used to be making fun of me 24/7 about that dude. Like, dude, your team not gonna win. Y'all coach was in the drive-through naked. They not thinking about football.
Okay, so I'm going to guess here. I'm going to guess, and I'm probably way off. I don't think it was Rod Marinelli because he seems too, like, even keel for that. I think that's a Mariucci move. I could see Mariucci driving through a McDonald's naked. I wouldn't want to, but I could definitely see him driving through a McDonald's naked.
Okay, I got it though.
Okay, are you? Who is it? Who is it?
Assistant coach Joe Cullen. Detroit Lions assistant coach Joe Cullen has encountered legal trouble among things allegedly driving through Wendy's drive-through naked without any clothes.
Yeah, dude. So apparently,
got a DUI.
Yeah, he was drunk and drove through the drive-through naked at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, lit.
So Cullen did it, and then Jim Bob Cooter was drunk and broke in somebody's house and went to sleep on their couch, and supposedly ate their food in the refrigerator. Look at.
Yeah.
So one question at Wendy's, what was the order?
I don't know, but
I don't know if they had a 4 for $4 back then.
Not even that. Hey, he was waiting on his change. I was wondering where was he gonna put his change? Not in his pocket. Like,
Oh
damn.
no! Oh no!
No, that's scary.
Oh, no.
That's scary, Bobby.
Yeah, Elijah, I'm surprised you didn't know that story, man.
I did not know that story. You know who?
I could deal with the '90s over that at any time.
Yeah.
He
probably thought he probably thought he had on pants, was gonna try to put it in his back pocket. Wrong pocket.
Oh no!
Where was his credit card?
Oh,
and
that happened in 2006.
Hey, look, that goes back to American Pie with Stifler and Finch. He's like, where'd you find that? He's like, Finch's ass. Look at that.
Oh my God. Oh, well, if you thought this was
Hey,
going to be a family show.
Hey, I'm about to read this part though. This is fun.
Okay, go ahead.
The Wendy's manager, Jeff Rolette, said he was let me finish, Elijah. Damn. The Wendy's manager, Jeff Rolette, said he was working the second drive-through window when the cashier alerted me a guy coming to your window is naked. He didn't say a word. I said, here's your food, go, sir. The order, he ordered a single combo burger, fry, and a drink. And that's all they left. That's all that's left. That's fucked up. So
why does that sound like a fake name though? Jeff Rolette. That sounds like a fake name.
Don't worry about the bottom of the top.
Like that's not like like when you call like AT&T customer service and you get somebody who is American and they're like, oh no, my name's Kevin. Like that's what it seems like. It seems like you call and the person says, my name's Jeff Rolette. You go, no, it's not. But okay, Jeff.
Yeah. And not to mention, of course, he got a DUI. And I don't know how he got caught. I don't know if the restaurant people called the police on his ass or whatever.
He ain't had no goddamn tinted windows. That's how he got caught.
Man. Oh my God. And make it so crazy, Elijah. Just in the grand scheme of things, just remember what part of the season we are. It happened on August 24th. So just imagine right before the season opener, you're coaching the goddamn drive-through naked. That kind of stuff will mess up the whole season. So just imagine the kind of silly stuff we were going through at the time.
Okay, so that leads to a new game that we like to play here on The Hunt. So when you go out driving naked, Nate, any tips for the audience?
Yeah. Don't smoke and drop ashes in your lap.
Man.
Okay, Bobby, when you go out driving butt ass naked.
Hold on. I'm gonna ask my daughter. So
I'm bringing the supersize. I don't need the supersize. I'm bringing the supersize.
Oh, come on now.
Hold on, Elijah. I got it. Okay. So ask Greg what is a trip? Well, I mean, what is a tip if he decides to go out driving naked? One tip he can give the audience.
Oh my God.
So my tip would be, just real quick, make sure you don't forget your cloak of invisibility at home.
Man.
Like I said, don't smoke. You don't want to drop ashes.
My Harry
must have that invisible jet.
No one else did.
He must have had that invisible jet like Wonder Woman. Remember Hey, he was in Dearborn. Full disclosure, he was in Dearborn. So, and one of
We
the
can. We
workers,
live.
yeah, one of the workers
Yeah.
wrote down his license plate and called 911 on us. But just
That's crazy.
full disclosure.
He probably thought he was in his invisible jet.
Yeah, Elijah, before you could comprehend what's going on in the world, the Detroit Lions was
That's
a
the only
real
thing out
clown
there.
show. A real clown
Okay,
show.
hey, so listen. So Greg said the tip would be if they have leather, don't park in the sun.
No. Oh man. And if you
He talking
do,
about some, oh man. Look at
Hey, boy,
and
ain't cooking.
if you do, you better turn
Hey.
on the AC. You better turn
Hey,
on the
listen.
AC for them cheeks.
that
That
take
Man,
that takes some hey look, that takes sunburned balls to a whole different level.
third
man,
degree. Third degree. Anyway.
look like a
So
brisket.
3rd degree burn.
now
like a
that we've talked
brisket.
about people's assholes and burning balls, we're gonna end
I'm
the show.
surprised you didn't know that, Elijah. I'm surprised you didn't know that, man.
No, I didn't know that. But you know who's
Oh,
thankful for this
God.
content right now? You know who's thankful for this content? Comedian Shay B. So the next time comedian Shay B does some stand-up, we're gonna hear those stories and be like, we know where you got it from. We know.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen. She is funny. She got
Yeah.
all type. Like I actually followed her page. She got a lot of stuff on there. You be like, what? Hey, so she's good. She's funny. Hey, some of it I might have to steal.
Yeah, well, hey, and like I said, that goes both ways. Like, because if all of a sudden she starts talking about how Detroit's got a hooker that works on Sundays, I'm gonna say, wait a minute now, wait a
What?
minute, that's my line. Anyway, so we're gonna
Hey,
go close.
hey, listen. Long as she works off Joy Road, they're perfectly fine.
Oh my goodness, and what a perfect name for that, Joy Road. Really, come on, Nate. That can't be real.
Hey, listen. It is. That's the street I grew up on. But you're talking about a hooker and a tight end on Joy Road.
Oh my God. Anyway, we need Jesus. So let's go ahead and close out the show before we, do any more damage here. So Nate Rucker, closing remarks, my friend.
Again, I just want to say, I love y'all, man. We continue to knock it out the box, being better than the rest of the podcasts that's out here. You know, I know our content is top notch. We got to find out who the mole is, because somehow every time we do a segment or something that comes up on our show ends up a headline on Facebook, something that we always do. So with that, man, I just want to say, hey, we continue to do this. So any words from my daughter? All right, give us some special words.
Go Lions.
Go Lions. So super simple.
Yeah.
So
Bobby, your closing remarks.
Just to piggy off what Nate said, man, it's just a wonderful thing to just be sitting here talking about the Lions, man. It's just fun. And I'm surprised you didn't know that about the Detroit Lions, Elijah. So I think we should start a segment called Obscure Lions Information. And
I would love that.
I could do this all day. So I might as well make it a topic, okay? Make it a
Hey,
topic on our page. And if you like the naked coach, wait till you see the blind man screaming for his mama story.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to that. My final remarks is going to be twofold. Okay. So number one, I want to thank everybody for watching this show, for supporting this show. 35 episodes. You know what? I wouldn't have thought 35 episodes would have been something that we were able to do, even going into 36 next week. So thank you for all the support. We appreciate you. Also want to say comedian Shay B has got the greatest way to introduce Hendon Hooker if we ever get the privilege of interviewing him. And what she had to say was, I don't know if I can even say it without laughing.
Hey.
He's the highest paid hooker, Mr. Hendon.
Oh, she's so dirty. Oh
Oh my God.
The
So,
highest
okay,
paid hooker. You
you
know.
know. Got to put that little extra sauce on there with the you
Yeah, I
know.
love that.
Okay,
He's
all right.
stealing my name.
So with that all being said, for Mr. Nate Rucker, for the #1 Lions fan, you know, for Not Patricia.
Not Patricia.
That's
Not
right,
Patricia.
Not Patricia. And for myself, Elijah Winfrey and Reggie Funches, have yourself a good one. You deserve it. Until we talk again, be good to yourself, be good to others.